Hey, what's up guys? It's Vatonage. Welcome back to another Minecraft video. In this video, I'll be showcasing the top 50 add-ons for Minecraft 1.18.12. All of these add-ons are compatible with other add-ons and are high quality. If you're the creator of any of these add-ons and you want to post them on vatonage.com, then let me know on my Discord. And if there's any add-ons I missed, let me know in the comments. When you're making your world, make sure you enable these experimental gameplay features for the add-ons to work. At number 50, there is the Mixed Ores add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new ores that you can find underground, and there's like 26 of them, and you can mine them all with the vanilla tools. I'm going to go into survival really quick and show you that if you mine them with the right pickaxe, then you get the right ores, like you get a diamond and an emerald from that one. So it's a pretty overpowered add-on, but it's a lot of fun to play around with, especially in the new cave update, because there's all the new ores. And if you mine this one with a stone pickaxe, it will only drop the lapis, because you can't mine gold with a stone pickaxe. But if you use a iron pickaxe, then you can get both of them. And yeah, that's a pretty cool new ore that you can find in all of your caves, so I definitely add this to like a Crazy Craft mod pack. And now number 49. Next is the Ultimate Shields add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new craftable shields, and they all work just like the normal vanilla Minecraft shield, but they all look really cool. And they all have custom crafting recipes down here. They do have like the vanilla Minecraft item texture, but they all have like cool textures when you hold them, and you can put them in your offhand and you can use them to shield like that. So yeah, it's a pretty good add-on and it's compatible, so you can use this with other add-ons, and it's a nice add-on to have just if you want more shields. Number 48 is the Chisel add-on. This adds a bunch of new blocks that you can get from putting it into a stone cutter, and you can use a bunch of different blocks. They are all on the MCPE DL page, but as you can see, there's a lot of different things for each type of block that are added in this, which could get pretty laggy because there's like thousands of new blocks. So I recommend only using this one if you have a really good computer or phone, because this add-on adds just so many new blocks, but they're all really nice, and I'm pretty sure they're the same ones from the Java mod, so yeah. Next is the Biome Revamp add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new flowers and decoration that spawns in your vanilla biomes, and it also adds some new monsters like this one right here. And I think it might add some more like fireflies and some other monsters like from the mob boats and stuff. And it's just a pretty good add-on to add to your world. It spices things up and adds like a bunch of new blocks that you can play around with. Next is the Android Infusion add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new android parts and 2 new monsters for you to fight. And the monsters will drop scrap parts, which you can craft into some better armor parts. And if you use them, you can get like permanent buffs, like regeneration and jump boost and strength. And they don't count as like armor slots, they are like a separate thing. And they stack with the buffs from other add-ons like baubles and weapon cases. So it's a really good add-on to add if you want to add more ways to get stronger. Next is the Miner's Dream add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new tools you can craft, and they will basically just do a lot of cool stuff. My favorite is this one called the Miner's Dream, but there's a bunch of other ones that we can play around with. So I think the Builder's Dream just gets rid of like dirt and stuff nearby. And the Miner's Dream is really good if you go underground. You can use it, and it clears out a large area for you to look for ores, and you can also, it also places torches and stuff, so it's a really good add-on for like exploring caves, and it's really good for like custom ore add-ons to help you find the ores. And there's also stuff like the strip miner, which just breaks and blocks around you, and just a bunch of other useful things like the fighter's dream, which kills stuff, and like gravel deleter that gets rid of all the annoying gravel. And yeah, that's basically it for this add-on. Next is the True Weapons add-on. This add-on adds a new crafting table which you can use to craft all these different types of new weapons, and they're all pretty cool. They have like sweeping edge and stuff, and some of them even have like 3D models and stuff, so it's definitely a good add-on to add to any world. And it works in like a skyblock because you can just craft the advanced crafting table, and you can make any of these weapons using just the normal Minecraft materials. And yeah, it's a pretty good add-on to add to basically any mod pack. Next is the loot bags add-on. This add-on just adds 5 new types of loot bags that can be dropped from monsters or found inside of structures. And when you use them, you get some interesting items like armor and some like resources like diamonds and gold. And you can get like shulker shells and other useful items that you can't normally get. This is a really good add-on for like a skyblock because it adds a lot of new ways to get materials that you can't normally get. Next is the chickens add-on. This add-on basically adds a new crafting table that you can use to craft all these different types of chickens. And they use spawn eggs, and you can make a normal chicken spawn egg like that. And you can use this chicken net to pick up chickens back into their spawn eggs. And you can use this to produce a lot of new materials passively. So you can basically put the chickens down, and instead of laying eggs, they will lay whatever they're made out of. So this one will lay clay, and this one will lay diamonds. Next is the More TNT add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new TNT that you can craft, and they all have cool special effects when they blow up. And you can craft all of these in the crafting table, and they're pretty fun to play around with if you just want to play it in a creative world. And they're also pretty useful if you want to like use this one to blow stuff up, or if you want to kill some monsters. You can use all of these new types of TNT. And yeah, that's basically it for this one. Next is the Ore Trees add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new trees that you can craft, and all of these trees will drop different things instead of just wood. Like they can drop cobblestone or like ingots and other useful items. So you can just go into survival and you can break them with your fist, and they drop a piece of wood, and they have a chance to drop whatever item they're made out of. So it's a pretty good add-on for like a skyblock. It's really good to get resources like this as well. It's really nice and fast and pretty overpowered. So yeah, that's basically it. Next is the Parasite add-on. This add-on basically adds a few new weapons and a bunch of new monsters for you to fight if you want to test out all your new weapons. It's a pretty cool add-on. It gets kind of laggy sometimes because the parasites spread really fast and spawn new monsters, but it's a really fun add-on if you have some good weapons. Number 38 is the Survival Guns add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new guns that you can use. They're all craftable, and they have some cool special effects. Like this one shoots wither skeleton skulls, and this one shoots TNT, and they all have a bunch of cool uses, and they're all really unique instead of just shooting stuff and killing things. This one's probably my favorite. It's a mining gun. It just breaks a bunch of blocks around it, and you can use it to go mining, like the name says, and it's pretty fun to play around with. And yeah, that's basically it for this add-on. Next is the Blood Magic add-on. This add-on basically adds a new crafting table kind of, where you can fill it up with like blood, and then you can fill up bottles and buckets with it, and you can use this to craft a bunch of new weapons, like some magic wands and swords and stuff. and these are enchantable and everything too, so yeah, they're all pretty cool. Number 36 is Advanced Machinery. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new cool machines that you can use, and a wireless power system using this item called a power core. And this will basically collect power from all the nearby machines, and it will send it to the machines that need the power. So you can use a bunch of like solar panels to fill up the power core, and then you can use some other machines as well. Next is the Advanced Machinery expansion. This is an expansion add-on for Advanced Machinery, and adds a bunch of new machines that you can use to do a lot of cool stuff. Like there's a pump which generates like water and lava, there's like a nuclear reactor, and there's like batteries and some other cool stuff as well. Next is Draconic Evolution. This add-on basically is another expansion add-on for Advanced Machinery, and it adds some new ores that you can find in the end dimension, and you can craft some new weapons and swords, and these exoskeletons, which are kind of like baubles from the baubles add-on. They just make you get some cool buffs if they're charged by standing on top of this thing. You get like resistance and stuff from this one, and it's a lot of fun to play around with, and it's really expensive to craft all this stuff. It's a very late game kind of add-on. Next is Toast's Engineering. This add-on basically is another expansion add-on for Advanced Machinery, except it changes a lot of the recipes to be more expensive, and it also adds a couple of new ores. So this wouldn't really work inside of a Skyblock world unless the sieve drops the new ores, which it might. But yeah, you can get some new ores and craft a bunch of tools and stuff to craft a bunch of new building parts. So it just makes Advanced Machinery a lot more complicated with its recipes, which is pretty cool. If you think Advanced Machinery is too easy, then you can download this add-on, and it'll make it a lot more complicated, and it'll be a lot more expensive to craft all of the parts. Number 32 is the Crazy Weapons add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new weapons like guns and swords that you can use, and they all do a lot of damage and have like custom enchantments kind of. And you can see these ones have like cool projectiles, and they do a lot of damage. They're all pretty overpowered, and you can craft them all using the crafting table, and yeah, they're all pretty overpowered. Next is Beyond the Underground. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new underground cave biomes. Like this one is like an ice biome, and there's some new like ice blocks that you can find, and there's also new monsters and stuff as well, like these things, and new blocks that you can find, and it's all really cool. It's like an expansion to the underground, and there's like new dripstone types as well, and it looks really cool with the new cave update caves, and there's also new ores and stuff as well, so it's a pretty good add-on. Next is the Crazy Tools add-on. This basically adds a bunch of new tools that you can use, and it's similar to the Crazy Weapons add-on, but it just adds some new tools that have a bunch of cool uses. Like this one will make you like do a speed boost, and this one will change the time, and this one you can use to like hoe a lot of ground really fast. This one you can use to make a bunch of paths, like this, but you have to be like near the ground, I think. And this one you can use to like teleport, and yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff you can use. They're all craftable, and it's a lot of fun to play around with. Number 29 is Vader's Expansion. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new custom ores and stuff that you can find. There's ores in like the overworld and in the nether, and in the end as well. And as you can see, there's some down here that you can find, and there's also some that spawn in like custom structures all over the place. I think there's one over here next to this village. Yeah, there's one right here, and there's a bunch of other structures like this that can spawn, and that adds a bunch of cool stuff. I think this is like a food that it adds. It's just a bunch of random cool stuff that you can play around with. It's really good for like a Crazy Crafts kind of mod pack. Next is the Nether expansion add-on. This add-on basically adds some new nether biomes, and it's pretty cool, and some new nether blocks and monsters as well. Like there's some new monsters like this. They're all pretty cool, and there's also like a new set of armor and some other cool stuff as well. Next is the Bossborn add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new cool bosses that you can spawn with this boss table, and all of these are just cool craftable stuff that you can make, and they're all spawn eggs, so you can go into creative and you can find the spawn eggs for them, and you can fight the monsters, like you can craft them and you can fight them. So here's one of the things you can craft, and this is it. It spawns like that, and you can also just spawn them in with like spawn eggs and stuff too. And they are pretty overpowered. They have a bunch of cool abilities and stuff, and you can get a bunch of cool weapons, like all of this stuff. And there's also like a sword that does 100 damage. So it's a pretty overpowered add-on. It's a lot of fun to play around with because there's a bunch of new stuff to fight. Next is More Simple Structures. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new high-quality structures to your world, and some of them even have like custom blocks and custom foods that you can play around with. And it's a bunch of fun exploring all of these structures in survival. They are pretty rare. I only found those two back there, but I haven't really been looking for long. And there's not too many structures, but the ones that it does add are pretty good and fun to play around with. Number 25 is the Magic add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new spell classes that you can have, and you can get them by using this primary magic orb, and it unlocks a new spell ability, and it has 4 new magic wands for each new class, and you can turn them into the respective wand for whatever magic you have, and they all have really cool effects, and they are pretty strong, and like they give you like regeneration and other stuff as well, and you can really easily craft these primary magic orbs and also the secondary ones if you want to have 2 types of magic, and you can change the type of magic that you have to be something else, and it's a lot of fun to play around with. Next is the Machinery Weapons add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new stuff to the Advanced Machinery mod, and it's an expansion for that, so make sure you have Advanced Machinery installed as well. It adds like new swords, guns, and jetpacks, and a bunch of other cool stuff that you can play around with. And the jetpacks, they give you like levitation when you use them, and the swords have like custom effects, and the guns, they do a lot of damage and they're fun to play around with. Next is the More Tools add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new stuff, from new ores to tools to armor, and so there's a bunch of new ores that you can craft the stuff out of, and there's also a lot of stuff for like vanilla items, like you can make glass armor and like apples out of different materials, and this add-on just has so much random stuff in it that it's a lot of fun to play around with and to have to any world. Like any mod pack, it would add a lot of new armor and weapons for you to play around with. And make sure when you're using this one you don't have the custom UI. It's a separate download, because if you have a custom UI, then it won't be compatible with other add-ons that use custom UI, or any add-ons that use just normal crafting tables and stuff. But yeah, that's basically it for this add-on. Next is the Glowing Ore Flowers add-on. This add-on basically adds some new flowers that spawn naturally in your world, and you can also craft them. There's one for each type of ore, and the flowers spawn in all types of biomes. It looks like this forest biome has a lot of coal flowers, and depending on what biome you're in, there's going to be different types of flowers spawning. So it looks like they have it so that in forests there's coal, and I think in Acacia there's like copper that spawns, copper flowers, and it just depends on what biome you're in. It's just a fun little add-on to add to your world, just to spice things up in a little bit and to make it so you don't have to go mining for ores. Because if you go into survival, you can just break the flowers with your hands and you'll get the ore. So it's just a fun little add-on to have in any world. Next is the Structure Expansion add-on. This add-on basically adds like 50 new random structures to your world, and they're all pretty high quality, and they have stuff in the loot chest and everything. And if I go over here, you can see some more structures like this, and it's just a lot of fun to explore all of these structures and to see what loot you can find. Now, number 20 is the Mystic Land add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new stuff from like RL Craft and stuff. There's like sirens and Medusa and mermaids, and there's a bunch of stuff you can play around with and fight in this add-on, and there's a lot of structures and ores. So let me spawn these things really quick. So these spawn in structures, and they are really good models. They're really nice. And there's also a bunch of new ores that spawn in like tough underground. So yeah, there's like forest and ice and earth and gem ores, and there's a lot of new armors, and there's like weapons and tools and stuff too. And there's also like new geodes that spawn. There's a couple that I found over here in the ocean, like this one, which is like ice crystal, and I think there's this one as well, which is also ice crystal. So yeah, that's basically it. Next is the Modern Machinery add-on. This add-on basically adds some new pipes and a bunch of new machines down here. They're all craftable, and it also adds a new ore called nickel. And you can use these machines to do a bunch of different stuff. Like this one, there's 5 different power generators, and each of the machines use like a different power source. So this one is called the matter power, and you can connect it with a cable, and you can use it on the stone compressor to turn stone into like an ore. So you just do this, and it turns once it receives power from the bottom, it will turn ores. It'll turn stone into like a random ore, and it's pretty useful. And there's also like a mob spawner that you can use with just this, and there's a bunch of other stuff you can use too. It's a lot of fun to play around with this add-on because it has like power cables and stuff. And yeah, that's it for this add-on. Next is Radioactive Craft. This add-on basically adds a bunch of random stuff like ores and stuff to make machines, and it's all based off of like radioactive ores like uranium and plutonium and stuff. And there's like a beacon, and this thing, it's pretty cool. It's like a vacuum hopper kind of, but it collects items inside of like a custom chest. And there's also like batteries, and you can generate a new power source kind of using a block of any ingot, and it goes on these kind of power cables, and you can store them in batteries and stuff. And if they get too full, then they'll explode, and there's a bunch of other stuff you can do with this add-on too. And it's all pretty complicated. Like there's some cool machines, and there's like tools and stuff you can use. So yeah, it's pretty complicated, but I think it's pretty fun. Next is the Mineral Seeds add-on. This add-on basically adds a new crafting table that you can make and it has a bunch of new types of seeds, and you plant them just like a normal seed, and you can bone meal them, and they give you a bunch of resources based off of whatever you craft. And you start off with like a cobblestone seed like this, and you can upgrade yourself up to like a diamond seed and iron or whatever type of seed is in here. There's a bunch of random seeds that you can make, and it's pretty overpowered, and it works with the advanced machinery auto farmer, so you can automate the collection of these seeds, and it's pretty overpowered. It's a lot of fun to play around with, and yeah. Number 16 is the Baubles add-on. This add-on basically adds 3 new types of accessories that you can wear: rings, charms, and amulets. So for the rings, they're all just based off of potion effects, and you can combine them with a potion, and you can basically get a permanent effect like speed or strength, and you can only have one of each type at a time. And then for the amulets, all of these are from mob drops, and they're pretty good. There's like a withering one that kills stuff nearby, and then there's like a magic amulet that teleports items to you. And then there's charms, like the angel charm. This will let you fly, and then like a power charm that gives you some pretty cool effects. And you can equip them by just interacting with the item, and as you can see, I got speed. And you can take them all off by using this empty ring. If you use this, it takes them off and you won't have the effect anymore. And if you also try to put on a different type of a like ring or whatever, then it takes the one off that you already have on, so you can only have one on at a time. And this works with the amulets and stuff too. This withering one gives the wither effect, and this one like collects items nearby, and this one gives you like levitation if you look up, so it's like a flight kind of. This one gives you like strength and a bunch of other effects. And yeah, it's pretty good, and it stacks with a lot of other add-ons like weapon cases and the magic add-on and android infusion. So and also draconic evolution. So you can use all of those to get some really high effects. Like you could try and get like strength 10 or something with all of the boosts. And yeah, that's it for this one. Number 15 is the Element Exchange add-on. This add-on adds 3 new crafting tables, and basically you can use this crafting table to turn a bunch of different items like seeds or stone or sand or basically like a third of all of the Minecraft items into elements, and these elements can be used inside of this thing to make a bunch of different things. So you can basically turn some items into other items, and it's a really good way to just get stuff that you can't normally get. It's really good for a skyblock because a lot of these things are unobtainable in like a skyblock world unless you have this. And there's also this machine which can turn one type of element into another type, and it's pretty good. You can probably find some good ways to mass produce items using this. And yeah. Number 14 is the Basic Machinery Expansion add-on. This is an expansion add-on for Basic Machinery, so make sure you have Basic Machinery installed as well. And this adds a bunch of new machines that you can use along with the Basic Machinery ones. And it's a good add-on to add for like any machine world. So yeah, there's like a power downgrader, which is kind of like the power upgrader from Basic Machinery if you've ever played that, except it turns 1 advanced power into 5 lower powers. There's a power transmitter, which currently only works in the beta, so you need the beta for this, but you can basically hook these up and transfer power wirelessly. I'm not in the beta right now, so I can't show you how this one works. This is a pylon. You can use it to teleport from one place to another, but it also uses the beta. But those are the only ones that use the beta. There's also like custom spawners and nuclear reactors that you can use. And to use the nuclear reactors, you use these reactor rods and you fill it up, and then it will generates power that you can use a cable to connect to, and it also gives you wither, and it generates the advanced power, so you can use a downgrader to just take the power out. And yeah, that's basically it for this one. Next is Better Machinery. This is also an expansion add-on for basic machinery, so make sure you get basic machinery as well. But down here, this basically adds some new machines that you can use. So there's like a heater which generates a new type of like power kind of, and there's like a trash can that's upgraded, so you can this will basically generate power whenever it deletes an item, and the heater whenever it gets powered, it will generate like a heat kind of. So you can use this for two of the new machines, the auto smelter and the auto cooker. So if you hook these up, these will get powered. And down here, there's also this power exchanger from it converts this normal power into like advanced machinery power. So if you have advanced machinery installed, you can use that. And there's some more as well. There's like a upgraded battery and a new solar panel. Here's the battery. And you can use all of these. It's a lot of fun playing around with these new machines. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Next is the More Structures add-on. This add-on adds 120 custom structures, and most of them have like loots and spawners and stuff, and they're all pretty fun to explore. And there's some like dungeons like this one over here, with some of them have like custom monsters and stuff, and they have a lot of loot and chests and stuff. So yeah, it's fun to explore these, especially if you have like a custom weapons add-on. You can explore these with your new weapons and fight the monsters and everything. Next is the Mecha Craft add-on. This add-on basically adds some new mechs you can make, and it also has a bunch of naturally spawning enemies like this one, and there's also some other ones like that can control mechs, so they spawn in with a mech and they can like attack you. And there's a lot of craftable stuff in here, like these are all the machine parts that you have to craft to make these mechs. Number 10 is the Mutant Creatures add-on. This basically adds a bunch of naturally spawning mutant creatures, and these are all really hard to fight. They're pretty strong, so I recommend adding a few like custom weapon add-ons before you play around with this. And they spawn a lot, so make sure you're prepared before you fight them. They have a bunch of stages, and there's a bunch of them as well, so yeah, they're really strong, and they have like hundreds of HP. So yeah, it's really good if you have like a custom weapon that does a lot of damage and like custom armor, because you probably won't be able to fight very many of these with just the vanilla diamond armor, even if it's enchanted. Number 9 is the Blasters add-on. This add-on adds like 50 new guns that you can craft, and they're all pretty overpowered and fun to play with. Like as you can see, if you just use them, then they shoot a nice projectile and they have like a nice sound effect, and they do quite a bit of damage. There's a bunch of different types that have like different firing rates and like different ranges, and yeah, they're pretty good if you want like new weapons to play with, or if you're like trying to fight mutant creatures. This is definitely a good one to add. Number 8 is the Skilled Weapons add-on. This adds a lot of new weapons that you can craft, and also tools. There's like a magnet and slingshot, and there's also, my favorite thing is probably these drills, and there's also like heavy axes. So yeah, this slingshot just gives you some levitation basically. This magnet just picks up items, and all of these are craftable, and there's like gold finders and like ore finders. There's new food, and if I go into survival really quick, this has like a tree capitator ability, which basically just cuts down the entire tree. And this is probably like one of the best add-ons that I've seen that has this. Most of them don't really work this well. And then there's also drills, which can mine in like a really big area, but it has to be on like stone. So if I go on to this stone right here, then this will mine in like a really big area. So it's really, this is really good to use in like a mining add-on. Like if you have to go mining a lot, this is like a must-have. Number 7 is Dungeon Craft, also known as Battle for the Realm. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new random like military and futuristic stuff, and it's kind of like Crazy Craft, and it replaces a lot of the vanilla biomes into like cool new biomes for you to explore. So if you want just a bunch of random stuff to explore and to fight, then this is definitely a pretty good add-on if you want to use it. There's some new structures and stuff, and some of the blocks are broken from 1.18, but they still work. There's a lot of new structures, and there's a ton of new monsters and stuff. Like look at all these spawn eggs. There's just so much random things to like play around with, and yeah, that's basically it for this add-on. Number 6 is the Calamity add-on. This add-on basically adds a lot of structures that look like this. This is the first one that you should find, but there's also some other ones that spawn like in underground or in other dimensions. And these structures can spawn bosses if you craft the right key. And you can make keys in this thing called a key crafter, and you can get this from just crafting in the crafting table. And you can craft keys to basically spawn bosses. If you just use the key on the platform, it'll spawn a new boss. And these bosses drop a lot of cool items that you can use to craft like new weapons and tools. And yeah, it's a good add-on if you're just looking for new bosses and new tools. Next is the Ender Awakening add-on. This is a new end biome add-on, and it's actually really cool. I really like it over a lot of the other ones that I've seen. These seem like actual new biomes, and they do kind of break in 1.18. That's why there's an included geo fixer right here. Make sure this is at the very top. This will basically fix all of the broken blocks. So if you see add-ons with broken blocks like in Dungeon Craft or this one, then you can enable that and it'll fix them. But yeah, this add-on just has a bunch of random stuff all over the place. Like there's so many cool new biomes to explore, and I can't wait to play around with this one. I think I have this in one of my Let's Plays that I haven't gotten to the end yet. And yeah, it looks really cool, and it gives you like new fogs and stuff, and it's honestly probably one of the best end expansions that I've seen so far. Number 4 is the More Gear add-on. This add-on basically adds a bunch of new armor and tools and weapons that you can craft, and they're pretty cool. They are a lot better than the vanilla ones, so you can basically get a lot stronger, and they're enchantable, and you can basically get them in like a skyblock world, because a lot of these, like this one just takes bone and like netherite and stuff. This one you need to go to like the Bedrock and the Nether, and you can turn it into like this ingot here. This one just takes like lapis ore, and this one is just 2 of the armor sets combined. and you can craft all of these new gears, and it's probably one of my favorite ones because it works in like Sky Factory and Stone Factory. So that's why I have it in like all of those, because it's one of the best ones, and it works on the Sky Factory and Stone Factory. So this can work in basically any mod pack. It'll be great. Number 3 is the Weapon Cases add-on. This add-on adds a bunch of new weapons that you can get from these cases, and these cases you can find as mob drops or inside of structures, and you can open them just by interacting with them, and they give you just a random weapon of their tier, and they're a lot better than the vanilla weapons. So as you can see, here's a bunch of them, and there's a total of 60 of these new swords, and each of them have like a custom enchantment kind of. So yeah, they're all really overpowered, and like look at all of these. There's just so many, so you should definitely get this add-on, and it'll be like a perfect addition to basically anything. You can make like a mob farm, and they have to be killed by the player to drop the loot cases. But yeah, you can make like a big mob farm and collect all of these swords. And number 2 is the Custom Enchantments add-on. This add-on adds a new crafting table that you can use to basically make all of these new items. So it adds 5 different enchantment tomes, and these take a lot of experience to craft, but they're definitely worth it. All of these enchantments are higher level than like the vanilla enchantments, so if you use them all, then as you can see, if I hover over them, these are really strong enchantments. You can get like sharpness 10, unbreaking 10, and a lot of other stuff. They're all of the stuff that you get from these books are better than the vanilla ones by a lot. So look, efficiency 10, looting 5, unbreaking 10. You get a lot of duplicates because there's not too many enchantments, but these are really strong, and you can put them on vanilla tools or armor, and you can even put them on like modded tools or armor, and it should work perfectly fine. And for number 1, I had to do basic machinery. This add-on literally adds 3 new types of power cables. It's like the first add-on to have working power cables, and there's just so many cool machines in here. Like you can set up solar panels, and you can set up quarries and stuff to generate a lot of resources, and it's so much fun to play around with, and it looks so cool. And I had to give this one the number 1 slot, and there's just so many expansion add-ons that are coming out for this, so make sure you understand how this add-on works and play around with it a bit, because it's just gonna be such a big add-on, especially for mod packs and stuff. Everything's gonna, especially all of my mod packs are gonna rely on knowing how to use this. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the top 50 add-ons. This video took forever for me to make. So yeah, and also thank you for 65,000 subscribers on my main channel. I never thought I'd be able to reach this large milestone. This is kind of like a 65,000 subscriber special. I will not be making these 50 add-on videos very often. I might make another one eventually for like 1.19 or something, but this just took forever for me to make. So if you guys want to see another video like this, make sure you subscribe and check out all of the add-ons on here. They're all really good, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.